What's up, guys? I'm so happy to be back. Hello, happy Thursday. Hello, Idara. What's up, Gabriela? How's everybody doing? Hello. I feel like it's been a while. Last week we didn't have a show. The week before that was the last time we met. But I feel like it's been longer than that for some reason. But I'm so happy to be back. What's up, Dino? Good to see you, man. Happy Thursday. What's everybody up to? What are you guys doing? How's everybody's life doing? Are you guys staying creative? Are you guys doing some cool stuff? How's the World Cup treating you? Are you guys watching, not watching? I'm really excited. I've been watching most of the games for the World Cup. I know there's a France and Morocco game going on right now. So if you have that on the side, it's totally cool. I'm going to have the score somewhere around here. I'll let you guys know what's happening. But yeah, I'm super excited to be streaming. I'm super excited to be creating something new today. And I don't know if you guys remember what we did last, but I'm going to share my screen real quick and show you guys. So last time we created this right here. We went through the whole process of creating an image. I'm going to get rid of some of these layers here so you guys can see. Created this image from this photography over here, and then started adding a little bit of some of the things into it, and then doing a few more things to the image, like shadows and stuff like that. We also went into walking through the process of using simple sketches to create assets like this, and that was really cool. So yeah, we did all of that in the last episode, which was 2 weeks ago, and it's been really cool to do some of these processes and some of these things on creating these new assets from images, from simple designs, and it's just a cool way to progress on that, and progress on the new techniques, progress on kind of using AI, but also maintaining the creative kind of voice on your work. I feel like that's very, very important. Gabriel is saying, I've been seeing your Argentina stuff on Instagram, Magdiel. Thank you. Yeah, I shared a poster that I actually created during this show. It wasn't originally an Argentina poster, but then I did it based on what Messi's doing in the World Cup, which is really cool. Dino says he's enjoying the World Cup. My second screen with the match on. Yeah, I wish I could do that right now. If I had the game on, I'd probably be too distracted. But I do have the score somewhere around here. So if they score anything and I don't see it, let me know, man. I hope it's a good match. I'm catching probably a little bit of the second half, and it should be fun. But yeah, like I was saying, what's up, Arif? Good to see you, man. Welcome to the chat. Like I was saying, it's just being Squalisto. Is that the way you say your name? Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. So we've been exploring how to make little assets like this using some of this is like using the pen tool inside of Photoshop, and then taking it into a little bit of the AI tools like Firefly boards, and creating some of these things. So it's really important to kind of understand these new processes, right? And get them done. What's up, Lucas? We've missed you as well, man. Okay, so quick thing before we keep going. I want you guys to like this video real quick so all the people that are around YouTube can see it. And make sure you're following the Adobe Live channel. And yeah, welcome everybody. I'm kind of reading y'all's messages and at the same time going. And it's just I feel like it's been too long. I kind of want to I feel like we should do by the end of this season, which is the end of August. Let me drink some water. I'm losing my voice, by the way. I feel like we should do a little get together, meaning do a Discord, and whoever wants to join with their camera on can do that. I don't know if that's even possible, but I feel like that would be cool, so you guys can talk a little bit more and get to meet each other, because it's been such a good time getting with you guys over here and streaming and seeing you guys every week come in and comment and do different things, and I feel like that would be really cool. And talking about Discord, this is our Discord right here. So if you guys want to join, it's inside of the Adobe Live Discord, and then you head over to On the Spot, which is the name of this show, and then you can submit your work, and then we'll review it every time that we do a show. We have a few more shows going on the rest of this month and August, and then we'll be doing a pause for between summer and winter, or summer and fall. So that's kind of like the schedule moving forward. But we've seen some of this work. I think I reviewed this one last week, or yeah, I think I did. And then we have this other submission by Arif using images. Didn't we review this one, Arif, already last week? I thought we did. Was it this one? Yeah, this one. These are new right here from this month. So original image. I think what happened is like last week we didn't, because we didn't have a show. We have a couple more. But I commented on this over here. But we're exploring making images and then mixing them up. It looks like Arif is doing a mix of like transforming images using AI and doing a few things like that, like this one over here, and doing some backgrounds, as well as doing some of these lines, the illustration kind of style, which is really cool. We have another artwork by username S. I don't know your full name, doesn't show it, but cool artwork, cool little effect. I feel like you're mixing a little bit of styles, which I love. I love the intensity of the color. It does feel very summery. It's making me red right now over here as we look at it. So that's really cool. And then we have, those are the submissions for this week. So we didn't have that many. Like I was saying last week, we did a little bit of this artwork over here. And this is what it looks like, more elaborate, with kind of the perspective of doing stuff here inside of Photoshop and then taking it and adding some more assets, or like from your sketches, creating some assets like this using AI. So we're using AI as almost as a rendering engine in a way. So as you can see here, this is my original sketch. And then if I load here the prompt, you'll see the prompt over here that's describing how to get this done. So whatever I apply this kind of prompt to, if I select a different image, for example, this one, which is another pen tool drawing that I have here on the left, if I click on it and I send it in, it will generate something that looks like that. It'll look like this one right here, but with this shape. So it's really cool to have that control, and it's generating. So I'll show it to you guys in a second. We've looked at this plenty of times on this show, but we'll make sure that we'll look at it and together, and we kind of learn this process of like creating shapes, creating ideas, and then transforming them. Like for example, these are some of these layers right here. And this is how you can create an image. Over here, created like a nose kind of looking thing from this. So sometimes it's tricky on the way that you kind of like play with it and get to the point where it works. It takes sometimes sometimes to do so. So yeah, that is what we've been looking at. What we're gonna do today is that I have this image right here. So we're gonna start with this image. So I feel like it's a really cool image to start with, already with some dramatic color, and we're gonna be removing the background. And my goal today is to create something that feels a little bit kind of like out of the ordinary, with a little bit of collage style, sort of like this over here. I feel like it could be really cool to do something like that. I do have some elements that I created earlier. There are these lines right here. My computer was lagging a lot because I was working on something that was pretty big. And what I did is that I started like to play with the lines. The computer was, as I was resizing things, it was like tearing and creating some lines. So I was screenshotting that, and then I was able to have this kind of like cool looking things. So I saved those over here. And I want to use those, and I want to use a little bit of these Japanese color palettes that I saw on Pinterest that are really cool. Just walking you guys through the inspiration a little bit. And what else? I have this Pinterest board open over here, so we can take a look at some of other inspiration, like similar to the one that I saved, which I saved from here a few minutes ago. And a lot of these are more collage inspirations, which could be really cool. I really love these stars over here that feel like plastic a little bit. So maybe let's copy this and save it on our board over here as inspiration. Maybe we can do something where we're adding a little bit of this plasticky texture to one of the elements, and we can go with that. Yeah, and I do like how these kind of shadows kind of like coexist over here. So I definitely do want to do something where we are treating these shadows over here together with this layering inside of it and doing some collage type of deal like that. So if you guys like that idea, we'll move forward and do it. As always, if you have any questions as we go and we create, make sure you post them here on the chat. If we're in any point here need to generate an image or to do something like that, we'll probably come up with a prompt here together. So as we go, if you guys have any questions, anything, just drop it in the chat. All right. First thing that I want to do is that I want to throw this color palette over here. Like this is essentially my color palette that I'm going to be using. It's funny because I feel like this very much looks like some color palettes that I've used in the past. And I do find a lot of inspiration. I think I've talked about it on the show previously on like Japanese paintings from the 1800s, which are normally paintings that have this kind of flow. They go from like blue and like a lighter blue to like a richer blue like this and lighter blue. And then they have like a black tone on top of everything, like on the very top of it. So it just gives you this kind of like, feels like almost like a sunset type of feel that looks really cool. I love this over here, how they are also bringing in, after doing that, they're bringing in a little bit of pink. And this is the way that I love to do my gradients. It's just with a soft brush. So I'm going to be throwing in another layer on the bottom. And I feel like picking from these, like a pink from down here. I'm not really taking one of these gradients into account. I'm kind of like doing a mix that I feel could be cool. Something like that would be nice. And kind of starting with the color first. And then the second thing that we're going to be doing is that I want to be adding some of these things, right? I feel like these are so cool. And they could be really awesome to go inside the mask and outside the mask at the same time. So like as you can see, because I did this with like literally taking screenshots, you can see some of the some of the kind of edges of it. So I want to delete some of those. I'm using the eraser over here, and I'm just going to be just erasing the edges over here. Pretty nice, sweet. I'm gonna delete some of these little ones over here so we don't. All right, so I think this works. And if I copy this and I bring it and I paste it straight down on Photoshop, I'm gonna keep it as a smart object. And then, yeah, I feel like this would be really cool to start like layering on top of the mask, but also coming out of the mask in a way. So I kind of want to do this double effect over here, and kind of putting together these compositions and these effects. It's really important to kind of like play around with the way that you're thinking about concept and assets first, and then from there you start creating different things, and things normally just come together. But you have to kind of sort of have an idea of what you want to create first before you get going. I'm going to delete these lines because they really are bothering me over there in Photoshop. A cool thing about the eraser here is that if you press Alt or Option on Mac, you can really select the areas where you want to just delete. And I'm going to copy this asset again, bring it over here, and I'm going to paste it in exactly in the same place. I'm going to add it right here, and I'm going to keep it there. Sweet, that works. One thing that I probably should do before all of these is that I probably should just separate the mask from the guy. So 2 ways that we could do that. One way, it's a really cool way, is if you click on this selection tool over here, you can select on the people on your poster, automatically detects them, and then you can select areas of it. This is good for if you want to select different things like this, like for example, saying that this is a hat, and it's interpreting the whole mask as an element. So we can click on that and say apply, and it's going to select the whole mask like that. And what I'm going to be doing now, instead of like deleting it from the bottom, I'm going to make a copy of it on the top. So if you can see, it's going to look like that, which is perfect because that's exactly what we wanted. So the other thing maybe that I can separate is that I'm going to be separating the eyes. So I'm going to go into the person again, and I'm going to separate the eyes to see what this looks like. It's only going to do only doing the white on the eyes. I want a little bit more than that. So I'm going to go and I'm going to use this tool to select the rest of the eyes. And the reason why I'm doing that is like when we start throwing layers around, things are going to start getting a little bit messy. So the more I can separate ahead of time, and I did this backwards, the easier it's going to be for me to sort of have control of what's going on. I want to subtract this other part. Sweet. Okay. I mean, it's not a perfect selection. What we can do is that we can leave it up here and we can mask it. That way we can, when we turn it on, you'll see it's not going to be lining up perfectly. You see it's behind it, but it looks kind of weird. So what we can do later on is that we can clean up that mask a little bit more. But I do like that, and I do like having the opportunity. I like having the opportunity to mask on top of the mask and being able to draw in there. So the way I'm doing that right now is it's pretty simple. Just selecting the kind of brush tool and select a bright color like this. Make it smaller. There you go. Sweet. Maybe we can pull from our color palette that we have here. Some of these colors work really well together. They are more of a, I would say, desaturated type of colors. So some of them are a little bit muted, but some of them are pretty bright, and we can mix them up a little bit. I just want to make sure that we still keep a separation between that and the background. And we see like one thing to have in mind is like not to do too many colors to where it starts looking too messy. So that's something to keep in mind here. I feel like I have some warm tones going on, but it's starting to look a little bit too messy. So let's go ahead and redo some of these colors. I don't know if I want to keep a more bluish color palette because that blends more into the background. Maybe we can try that. And we'll do a mix of like some colors like this that are more like thicker colors and some other colors that are more like, you know, some brush strokes that are a little bit thinner. Maybe something like that. For now, for the blue, I feel like that works. Another thing that we can do is that we can add a little bit of like, I'll check it out, Lucas. Thank you for submitting, bro. Yeah, something else that I like is that we can separate also. We have the separated version of this layer over here, which we can always come in and do something like this too. And these are things on top of things on top of things. So we have to, this is where we have to make sure, okay, we're making sense of this at least a little bit, you know. Maybe we keep like a contour on top of everything over here. The Morocco-France game is still 0-0. I'm not watching, but I'm watching the score. And yeah. I don't know if anything eventful is happening on the game, just in case you guys are wondering. Okay, what I was saying was that we still have to keep a little bit of a kind of knowledge of what's happening spatially in the piece, so that things don't go too crazy, right? I'm using a lot of red and blue right now, trying to see if that's the way I want to keep it, or if I want to make it a tiny bit more, I don't know, like bring other colors into the mix. I want to bring this up. I feel like I want to do this kind of like glow on the eye. Just makes it look a tiny bit more. The eyes look a little bit more intentional. Yeah, I think I do also like this font over here. I pasted the font here so you guys can see it. I purchased this font last week for a project, client project that I was doing. It's called GeoSans, and it's a pretty cool font because it kind of has this look that's pretty destroyed. Like, it looks very messy, and I don't know, I dig it. I dig it with, especially with stuff like this. I feel like we used it already on that World Cup poster we made a few weeks back, and I feel like it's a cool little texture font. So maybe I want to use that in here. Let's throw it in, see what happens. Let's do it down. Sweet. Okay, that's working a little bit. Yeah, and I feel like this type of design, also with so many layering, so many things happening like this, is more about like maintaining balance, right? It's maintaining a little bit of what we can do versus what the design can take without just breaking the balance totally. So it's getting there to where, you know, it starts looking crazy. When I incorporate another color here, I'm gonna use another brush, maybe darker. Yeah, I like this. I feel like this is natural, like naturally looks kind of cool. Make some of these contours over here. I'm kind of like drawing what the mask should be on top of the mask. I feel like that could be cool. This gives it a cool look. We could add a little bit more like photography, something like that. I did like, from our inspiration, one thing that I do like, and maybe we'll look at it and see if we can add any of those aspects, is that it did have a few photography aspects that could be really cool. So we'll look at it right now. Also, I feel like we could do another thing all the way on the top. I keep wanting to use this. I keep wanting to use this yellow, but I don't know if it works or not. Not sure. I switched it to green, obviously, but kind of want to make these eyebrows. And I'm going full on expressionism here. I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm just going with the flow of what feels right to do. And a little bit of that is dictated by kind of what the like the expression coming from the metal feels like. I feel like it's a really cool way to play around with some of these things. Here I'm selecting it. So if you select something and then you go select, modify, and then you go contract a little bit, you can add a little bit of an edge to your design. And if I draw over that now, maybe this is what we needed, just to make it make some of those colors work together. So I'm painting right now on top of my selection, which is inside of my other brush stroke that I did before. And then this adds a pretty cool layering effect that I just love doing. And this is what, you know, sometimes like you look at somebody's artwork, like this inspiration that we saw here, and you wonder, how did this person do this? Like, what is the, you start trying to break it down. No, it's not available inside of Adobe fonts. I'm sorry, Arif. It's a purchase only font, but I'm sure there's other ones that look kind of natural like that. If you see this person's work and you kind of try to break it down, there's so many things happening right now. People sometimes get overwhelmed with like, hey, how do they do this? I don't think I can do this because there's so many different things, so many different elements. And one of the biggest things that you can kind of like do when you're analyzing an artwork is that you should look at kind of how the components break down. Instead of trying to analyze everything, analyze each component slowly, and you'll see that it's more doable than you think. One of the biggest secrets with this type of style of work is to layer things on top of each other multiple times. Like, you can see that how cool this feels now with this kind of effect of paint on top of paint, and how that kind of adds an extra layer to it that it just feels way more intentional. I'm switching the green out for my gut feeling is to do more of an orange, you know, like this. And then maybe we can do the same thing here. Just do this kind of like orange. And maybe we can do the same thing with these letters right now. We can select it, modify, contract. And then when I do 3 on here, and then when I draw on top of these with yellow, again, I keep going back to yellow for some reason. But this lighter, let's do this lighter color. And then let's do like a yellow color. You can see that I'm drawing on top of pixels that are like being drawn. And here is creating like this crazy looking effect. That might be too harsh. It might be too harsh. So let me trace it back. And instead of doing 3, I'm going to do select, modify, contract. I'm going to do 2, or I did 3 again. Select, modify, contract. I'm going to do 1 actually. Let's do 1. And let's draw on top of that. Cool. So this keeps a little bit more of the look. And it lets us like, it doesn't look so grungy that it breaks. Still, like, you know, feels very curly, but it's still cool. And then we're looking a little bit brighter now. Maybe we can bring in some of the brighter colors in the metal one as well. So let's see what that looks like. Whoops, wrong layer. I'm gonna use the soft brush right now. Here we go, like this. Yeah, maybe it's more on the edges. That's what we do. We do more of the edges. Yeah, that's looking kind of cool. I do want people to register the lines coming out, so maybe we do a stroke on those. Where it is, something like that. Yeah, not like this is giving a vibe of like very 70s, I don't know, 60s, 80s kind of vibe, which I've always loved. We'll contract again, do 1, and paint over that again. So I'm painting now over those black lines. Yeah. I love everything that's happening here. What do you guys think? Are you guys digging this type of style, the lines? I feel like it works really well. I do want to add a photography aspect to it. I feel like it could make this, improve it, make it look amazing. I'm about to go to Discord and check out your work right now, Lucas, your submission. So I'm heading over in a second. Before that, I do want to create some like a harsher line over here. I don't want it to be so soft. I'm trying to think if I should do a black or white. You guys see what I'm talking about? On the edge of this subject over here, I want to separate it from the background a little bit more. So I could do that by doing a black line. And I'm using like a soft brush, but I have the effect, the dissolve mode on. So it has this kind of lines. I'm able to draw a little bit on it like this. There's a double line over here. So what we're seeing. Yeah, so I do like that. I feel like it looks good for now. We can leave it or take it away. We'll see. For now, I'm gonna switch it to multiply. And yeah, I feel like it works for now. We should probably do something on the bottom of the mask to separate it more from the neck area. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, something like this could be cool. And I'm gonna go dissolve again and do the same thing. The red is pretty intense. It is, but I feel like it does look cool. Yeah, if I were to do a line like this, it might feel too random. So it might be better if I do it like in like this. I don't know if I can do it with my mouse, but yeah, maybe what I'll do is that I'll do it on a new layer and then move it. Sweet. So Command T, and I'm going to just do these more like that. Perfect. Sweet. Okay. I do want to bring some clouds into the mix over here and see something else. The image was generated from prompt. Yeah, the original image of the guy was a prompt image. I can dig up the actual prompt I used and send it to you guys so you guys can see it or have it. Yeah. And then I colored the skin over here to make it look like this. Okay, I do like this. I feel like this is landing somewhere cool. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that image, our reference image. I would like to do some clouds. We can also edit a tiny bit the original image, because that will help us kind of like bring the subject out a little bit more if we want to showcase him a tiny bit more. So yeah, if you want to flatten him or if you want to show him more, we could do that. That looks scary. So we'll probably brighten him a little bit more. And another cool thing here is like when we separate everything, like if we do a gradient map on the mask, for example, we can just colorize the mask as much as we want because it's a white mask. Or we can make it a little bit yellow. We can even bring some of those tones of the same design that we have going on. So literally here it's like unlimited. We can do whatever we want. We can darken it a little bit. I kind of I'm digging how this looks. So tiny bit darker. Maybe I'll do a blue on the like this negative look is so cool too. I kind of love that. Okay, let's do, yeah, I feel like that looks pretty cool. Yeah, because that way we have a little bit of everything. The best of everything going on. And it does have a lot of impact. It does feel really cool. yeah. What am I doing next? I forgot. Okay, clouds. Yeah. So let's find some clouds real quick, or let's generate some clouds. So let's go new image over here. Actually, I'm gonna just like do it in the same size Canva and everything, so it's easy. And I'm going to go. How do I do this? Just select it like that. Generate new image. I'm gonna do image of cloud. Let's do dramatic cloud on blue sky. Okay, and it's going to generate an image of a dramatic cloud on a blue sky. We'll see what it looks like. Looks great so far. Thank you, man. What that generates is actually go into Discord and check out Lucas' submission for this week. Hi, everybody. This is my contributions for these that I worked on over the past few weeks. Awesome, Luca. This is cool. I love the little GIF animation inside the flower. I think it's pretty striking image. I love the colors that you have going on. And I love how you show the flower, the actual flower, every once in a while. And it can keep bringing you back into seeing the flower. I feel like that's really cool. And then this is the other one, inner noise, silent outside, chaos within, lost between the static thoughts and fading signals. The mind keeps searching for a frequency that feels real. This is cool. I love the shadow. I love how you're muting some of the parts of the body and bringing in some of those aspects of centering the image with the circle on the back. Yeah, really cool. You know what would have been really cool in this image too, to like make this area on the TV screen very bright or very colorful. So I feel like almost like this white over here that you have on noise, and bringing from the metal, brighten the metal, and then bring color out. I feel like that would have been really cool because you're saying like chaos within, so it almost like it feels like empty, but then you have all this noise and all this light coming from the middle of it. But good job, man. Amazing. As usual, really nice work. What's up, Nishayla? Oh, Nishayla is in the house. What's up, Shay? Thank you for being here. All right, so we created some photos here. Let's switch it out to a different mode. I mean, I don't hate these. Especially this one is really cool, actually. Okay, I'm actually going to keep this one. So I'm going to copy this one and bring it into, where are we at? Over here. Okay, sweet. So we'll bring it over here, throw it in. Yeah, amazing, Lucas. Great job. Che finally made it into the chat. Congratulations, Che. Thank you for being here. This is so cool. All right, so I'm gonna click remove background, and let's see what happens when I do that. I don't have a lot of faith on it working. It worked pretty well. Normally with clouds, back in the day, I would have to do, instead of doing remove background, I will remove the blue. So I would go select color range, and I will either like select the white, kind of manipulate it here until I have most of the cloud in, and then I would copy paste that. So, or I would mask that. So that was the way that I used to do it before. And I still think up to this day, this works pretty well. You can see it here because it allows you, it kind of has a natural look for the clouds, where it just feels like it's the darker parts in the clouds. Obviously the sky is so dark behind it that it feels fake up here. But when you have transparency like this, it feels pretty good. And you can layer it. So that's a good way to do it. It looks like removing background is cool because it's keeping some of that white, but it's making the darker transparent, which is cool too. So I think I'm gonna keep this one. I don't know if I should actually kind of blend both of them, like utilize some of these to delete some of the areas that I don't want selected on the other area. It does feel cloudy, huh? But we'll see. I think I'll keep this one, and now I'm going to delete the rest of it with the brush. Regular brush, just deleting some of it. What I do like about the other one is that this is naturally more of a, we're able to just delete it like this. I'm gonna keep the top, and then I'm gonna use the bottom selection for that. There you go, kind of like that. Sweet. And then we're using the best out of both of them, because that way we can still layer some of these in, but we're keeping most of the white and all that. So okay, let's try that out. I'm gonna move these down closer to the mask area. Yeah, I want it somewhere behind some of these assets, but I want it also on top of the mask only. So maybe I'll delete it manually like this. Let me see. We got to make sure that we're moving from dissolve to regular. Cool. This looks nice. And we are landing on top of all these nice things that we did before on the mask. So I don't know if I want to keep this or not. Or maybe we just send it to the back. Let me see. Send it to the back, top of this. Boom. Move it down. Yeah, I feel like this looks great. And remember, we have a little bit of an inspiration that we have for this image that I have on Illustrator. So let's go look at how they treated the clouds. I think they're just layering them in the background like this, which could be a really cool way to do it. Let me mirror this and see what it looks like on the other side. Yeah, this could be a good way to do it. Just layering it like this. I would like to delete some of that in the bottom over there. So maybe we just delete it slowly like this. That could work. And then we can balance it out with a little sun over here, which I've always loved doing on some of the work. All right, and I'm gonna add some shadows into that. I feel like it's the best way to really do that. It's just to draw the sun. There you go, something like this. Sweet. And I do like doing some light on the bottom of it. So maybe it's, yeah, because you draw all these different darker stuff, and then you add a glow to the bottom, it just looks so much better. Yeah, something like that. The image is not super centered right now, so let's move it down a tiny bit. Like that, maybe. Still not 100% convinced of the position of some of these things. So we'll take a look at it slowly. And this is part of the thing, right? It's just like so much of what we sometimes do with design or with like artworks like this is it's about like figuring out as you go where things fit, how they fit together, and you can just tweak them as you go. You don't need to know exactly what it is, and you're also good to move them around. Like, you know, you're good to try them out, put them in a place. Okay, they didn't work. Let's move it somewhere else. And I feel like that's a lot of the time and work that goes into graphic design, is understanding how to do that faster, how to become faster at making those decisions. Somewhat like part of what that getting better at graphic design means. It's just how do I do this faster? How do I make the decisions a little bit faster? Yeah, and it's part of it. It's part of the game. All right, so I'm moving some of these, also these like text that I have up there. I want it somewhere else. I don't know if that's the right place. I'm testing some of these things out. All right, I feel like it's time to look at the inspo that we had at the beginning of the show, and then also look at some more inspo on the internet and see what else we could do to this image. I feel like it's almost there. Like it has a good thing going. It needs something else. I'm gonna change the yellow up here. So right now I'm like trying to like just play around a little bit with how much things should be blending together. Sweet, something like that. Okay, I feel like that added a little bit more balance over there. Okay, so let's take a look at that inspo. Oh, one thing we liked that I brought over here is the stars, right? With the plastic look. Maybe we can add something like that to our artwork. Doesn't have to be stars. It could be something else. Could be a different shape. I say that and then I end up creating a star. I'm not creating a star. I'm just, if you can see here, I'm just with the pen tool creating a like a shape. I don't know what this shape is. But I feel like it goes well with everything that's going on the artwork. Maybe it almost looks like it could be a letter. It could be a letter T or A. So maybe if I create a few of them, maybe they could look good together. It's literally the definition of making stuff up. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay. Cool. And then I'll do another one. I feel like it could be. Okay, something like this. That one almost looks like an E. Yeah, this is cool. It almost looks like a Russian letter type of deal. Yeah, there you go. That looks good. And I don't know if in the materials that we had created before, the prompts for the materials that we created before, if we have a plastic look, I hope that we do. Also, I don't know if we can straight up paste things from Photoshop into Firefly. I don't think we can. That would make our lives so much easier if we could do that. So probably going to tell the Adobe folk that that would be really cool. Okay, so let me make a little background here. We've done this plenty of times before, so you guys know how it goes. And then I'm gonna select this, do a screenshot of it, and then we're gonna send it into Firefly. I like this little letters that we came up with. They're pretty cool. I feel like they're a cool little thing that we can add to this. Rotate this. I do like the energy of this poster a lot. I feel like it feels very energetic. Maybe the colors need to be adjusted a tiny bit, but I feel like it's in a good position, you know. All right, I'm gonna add this here, and then I'm gonna copy, since the closest thing is this. The closest thing to what I want to do is this one over here. So I'm gonna use this one. And we're gonna go generate. I'm gonna paste this here. and I'm gonna paste our sketch, and we're gonna say automatic, and then we're gonna send it out, and let's see what happens. Hopefully create something cool that feels like that. If it doesn't, if it wouldn't do it, I would try to let's call it would be called like Play-Doh, right? Something like that. So I'm gonna say transform. Let me see the words that we use here. Into a transform the provided sketch into a smooth, into a Play-Doh. Let's say Play-Doh. I don't know how to play Play-Doh, guys. Golly. Red Play-Doh. Red Play-Doh material, because it did this, but it's kind of glossy. I don't love the glossiness of it. I want the white glossy, but I don't want the rest of the thing. It just looks too 3D for what we want right now. So maybe I'll try this one. Yeah, we'll see what it looks like. But maybe we can paste that there. If we cannot, then I'll figure it out. A way that we could do these two is that we could do it with, let me make it red. The way that I always used to do that light, like shadows and light on some of these things, is that I would make it white, and then I would literally paint something like that, and then I would warp it like this. That's a cool way to just add that kind of like glossy look to something, and do it in a somewhat natural way, or like do it in a way that looks cool. It has a bit of a bit of a handmade look that I love. Also looks a little bit graffiti, so this might be better than the generation. Cool, it's a cool little effect. I'm gonna do it on this one as well. Have you guys ever used something like this before? Like a soft brush type of effect using warp? Yeah, this might be, I don't know what the AI rendering is gonna give me, but I feel like this only is missing a little bit of the Play-Doh texture. As far as the look goes of the glow, I feel like this is exactly what I wanted. Might be a little bit too strong, but we can group it and then bring it down slightly like this, and that's looking pretty cool. Yeah, so I love this look. I think this is pretty expressive. It feels good. Play-Doh came out on the AI a little bit too Play-Doh-y. And this, I don't know what this was. Oh, this was the painted effect like this. It's a little bit too strong. Let's look at our inspiration. We have a couple minutes left. Let's look back at our inspiration. We haven't looked at it too many times, which is good because that means that we are doing what we want to do. Okay, one cool thing about this that I like, that I still feel like could add a little bit to our piece, is that there's a secondary element. In that case, there's that car behind him here, like in the background. So maybe we could incorporate something like that, like something here. And then the other cool thing is that they're using shapes behind the subject to bring in, some of the space a little bit better. I feel like I like that better than the than the circle. I feel like the circle, the sunlight thing feels a little bit too safe. Also too round for the design. The design feels more sharp and dangerous, and the roundness of it just feels a little bit off. So maybe that's the way we should do it. We should just make it a tiny bit more edgy like this. And also lately, I feel like I want to use more muted colors with everything I do. Maybe I'm just getting older. I feel like I want to use more. I say that, and this work looks very colorful, but at the same time, I want to use more muted colors, like as I'm creating things. And yeah, it might be the my age, you know. You see, I go with this super intense red, and slowly I keep bringing it more to the muted colors. Although here I feel like it just needs it. It needs a little bit of like the bottom side should be standing out a little bit more. And then one thing that I would do here probably is like to also do like a stroke around it. I don't know why I drew this like this. Okay, sweet. Yeah, these letters do look good. They do need, I feel like they do need a little bit of love. They need a tiny bit more texture. They need maybe a grain on it. Whoops, I'm doing it on top of the whole thing, but I want it on top of the letters. Sweet. The size is small, a lot of grain, a lot of like smaller size. Yeah, I think that is getting there slowly. Okay, I'm really happy with this, how these turned out. I feel like we achieved this kind of like sort of like look that feels like a composition that's coming together slowly. And if you guys want to do this again, like every week, I would love to see your creation on Discord next week and analyze it with you guys and just take a look at what you guys are creating, what you guys are doing. And hopefully you guys can create something kind of similar to this, something inspired by some kind of composition that feels like this. If you do, please put it on the Discord. We want to see it. We want to take a look at your creative journey with you and enjoy it. I'll be here next week, same time, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I hope to see you guys here, and I hope to see your creations. As usual, I keep talking and closing the show as I'm finishing this up, but you guys know how I am already. It was so great to see you guys. CMYK, no RGB. You're right, Shay. You got to mature, and go from digital to print at some point in your life. I love you guys. It was great to see you. Great to see you, Arif, Lucas, Winter, Powder, what's up? Landing Clipping Mask, tagging Photoshop class in summer, finally. Sweet. I can't wait to see what you create. Put it on Discord. Thank you, Dara, for managing everything today on the chat. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate you all. Love. Yeah, check out my Instagram. Love you all. Thank you for being here. Ciao.